Alright, so season 13 of Degrassi started July 11, 2013 and ended July 29, 2014, which is kind of strange how one season of Degrassi actually went over a year in real time. 40 episodes, kind of a telling away of a thing. So basically, there were a lot of issues about cancer, texting while driving, deaf, sexism, sleep disorders, cyberbullying, domestic violence, rape, racial profiling, relationships. The weird thing is that the 13th season was announced November 30th, 2012. However, Much Music and Teen Nick did not announce picking up the season until a month before the first episode was scheduled to air. The show actually moved from Much Music to MTV Canada partway through the season. Much Music had the series in Canada since 2010 when CTV let go, and Teen Nick had always been in the United States since 2002. They don't do the telenovela novella soap opera format this time. When Adam Torres got killed off during the season, controversy ensued, including a statement from Glad, who said, quote, when Degrassi introduced its large and loyal audience to Adam Torres, an authentic, multi-dimensional transgender character, the show not only made TV history, but set a new standard industry for LGBT inclusion. With so few transgender characters on TV, we were disappointed that Adam's story had to end this way, and we hope other shows will follow Degrassi's lead. Linda Schreier, one of the show's creators, defended the choice, saying, quote, the combination of Adam being a favorite character and Jordan, the actress who played Adam being at the end of her contract, had a unique opportunity to tell this story through such a beloved character. As sad as we are to say goodbye to Adam, we feel this storyline will affect even more lives in an authentic way. So basically, there's a lot of people. Drew's in 38 of the 40 episodes. Wow, that's amazing. Dallas was in 32 of them. Claire in 36. Tristan in 33. Imogen in 30. Allie in 33. Zoe and Miles for 34 episodes. And so anyway, and Summer Block had a 1 hour special and aired weekly with an after show after Degrassi. The fall block ran from October 3rd to November 21st on MTV, and then the winter block started in January and went through spring and then April 22nd. So basically, they had another summer block. So anyway, summertime happens. Maya is trying to spend the summer with Tristan on a field trip to Paris. Things are looking good until Zoe Rivas makes her way to Degrassi and tries to end the Maya Tristan relationship. Maya actually meets Miles, who encouraged her to let her wild side out. Claire finds out she has cancer and has to go through chemo, and tries to make a long distance relationship with Eli work. Adam gets a job at a kids camp in Degrassi and makes fast friends with Imogen, which makes Becky jealous. Of course, Becky is in Florida for the summer. Claire, in All I Want to Do, says that despite her serious illness, she tries to be a regular girl, but she might lose Eli. Feeling lonely without Claire by her side, Allie decides to go to Paris, explore Paris by herself, and meets the love of her life. Tristan thinks his roommates, Miles and Winston, are homophobic and wants Maya to pretend she's his boyfriend, her girlfriend. My own worst enemy is when Claire is convinced that her cancer is getting worse after receiving bad news and tries to get out of the hospital. Allie could potentially ruin any chance of going with Leo in Paris, and Tristan's attraction to Miles grows steadily, and he is convinced Miles is gay. About a Girl is when Adam finds out that Becky has been hanging around with someone in Florida and obsessed trying to find out what happens. In Paris, Maya tries to take things into her own hands when Tristan is tired of watching Miles and Zoe make up. Also, Allie thinks that things with Leo are going too fast. All that. Cannonball is when Adam takes Dallas's advice and tries to move on with his life by hooking up with Imogen, hung up over Becky. Tristan is missing in Paris, and Maya and Miles have to find him. Allie attempts to help Jenna get over Connor by setting her up with Leo's friend. Honey comes up when Allie's France trip is coming to an end, and she tries to salvage her perfect relationship with Leo. Adam is hospitalized by a texting while driving collision. Drew tries to head to the kids' camp to distract himself. As it turns out, this Honey was the last time last time Adam is seen because of texting and driving. Young Forever is when the students of Degrassi have to find the courage to say goodbye to one of their own. Becky tries to understand the meaning behind Adam's unexpected death and rallies together friends to form a bond. Drew takes his brother's death hard and wanders through the city alone. And Claire tries to honor Adam. So this was the last time Dave was ever in the show. This is how we do it. So MTV Canada finally gets Degrassi. This is how we do it: is when the new school year begins and Drew is president and wants to have a beach bash dance. But the council wants to organize a texting while driving event in memory of Adam. So he has a rough start at Degrassi and wants to leave to protect her secret. Allie still wants to see Leo, who basically moved to Toronto. You Got Me is when Drew finds himself unable to cope with Adam's death, and he can't organize the beach bash. Basically, Zoe tries to impress everyone by saying she's going to dance with Drew, and Allie tries to change friend's perception of Leo. You Ought to Know is when Claire gets a chance to have her article featured in a national magazine, but it has to be about Zoe. She ends up having memory loss, and she thinks the cancer has returned, but it's chemo brain, which basically the chemo's hurting the brain. Tristan and Miles try to join the basketball team and all that. Imogen starts a club called Degrassi TV and looks for on-air personalities. Imogen doesn't want Becky to audition because of the guilt about Imogen with Adam. After learning that her memory loss is a side effect called chemo brain, Claire notices in everything you're doing wrong. Claire attempts to lie about Zoe to get in the magazine, but basically she comes clean. Meanwhile, after Miles promises to give the team steroids, Tristan reveals the steroids are false and has to clean the mess up. Imogen has to contemplate telling Becky the truth about Adam, knowing it will hurt her. Basically, she tells Becky that Adam really loved her, but the kiss was a secret. Who Do You Think You Are is when Zoe convinces Maya to make a music video. Unfortunately, there's a lot of strange stuff saying that derogatory terms and internet memes of Maya's face on scantily clad bodies. Maya's hurt. Drew tries to get Dallas to take school seriously and all that. Allie has to retake her SATs to get into MIT, but basically Leo gets mad that they'll be separated. And barely breathing, Maya is upset over the attention she ends up getting. She fights with Zoe, all that. Zoe has to pretends to apologize, leaving Maya furious. Basically, Maya gets a song in class threatening to kill Zoe and is suspended. Basically, Miles appears at Maya's home and they kiss. Drew finds out that Dallas got cut from the Ice Hounds, and Dallas stays in Toronto. Leo tries to apologize to Allie, but basically, he has a few conditions put on him after Allie takes him back. Winston does an insulting story about Drew. Drew fires him, but there's a riot looking for Drew to be impeached. So anyway, a lot of things happen. Claire's excited about Eli's return, but there's a problem. Eli tells Claire he cheated on her. Spiderwebs is when Bianca finally ends her role at Degrassi. Drew is ecstatic over Bianca's return from Thanksgiving, but she breaks up with him. Drew convinces her to pretend to be his fiancée to make his mother happy, but to show that things have changed. Tristan basically is performing a skit with Zoe at the family feast, but Maya wants to sabotage it. Maya and Zoe finally have a truce on each other, and Tristan gets them to call a truce. I'm convinced that Zoe is actually the star of season 13 because of all the crap she's gone through. Claire is upset over Eli's betrayal and kisses Drew. But Eli shows up at the family feast. The World I Know is when Leo finally gets sent away back to France on Eli's birthday. Maya returns from her suspension, and Drew works with a mayoral candidate. And Better Man, Allie continues to lie to protect Leo. Maya proves she's not a princess, and Drew tries to do an important interview. Dig Me Out is when Drew tries to keep things so casual, and Imogen hates the dress code. Power to People is when Drew decides to break up with Zoe, and Imogen takes her dress code fight to the internet. Next is No Surprises, when Miles has problems with his family life, and Claire grows closer to Drew. Basket Case is when Claire tries to get over her feelings with Drew. Dallas basically comes up with a plan for Allie to confront Leo about Leo beating her, and Drew is angry when he's tricked by Miles, and Miles throws a party without his dad's permission. Unbelievable was a two-parter that, unfortunately, Zoe has drinking problems, and Becky finds out Zoe had problems with two strangers. What it's like is when Jenna believes everyone that basically she and Connor are a weird couple. Becky is jealous that Imogen's attraction to Jack, the new girl, and Maya tries to find a safe place to live when he's homeless. Maya decides to smooth things over with Sig and Miles at the dance, hoping and all that. Army of Me is when Dallas tries to win Allie over at the science fair, but basically there's an explosion and all the black guys are asked to stay together for questioning. Tristan, Zoe, and Maya have a new teacher of a new writing society teacher, and Tristan thinks his parents are getting divorced. And of course, all that. So Dallas finds out news about the science fair. Tristan has developing feelings for his new teacher, and Claire tries to sabotage Drew when she's jealous. Sparks Will Fly, a two-parter, is when Degrassi prepares for Wild Wild West night. Miles reunites with Miles and wants to hide their rekindled relationship from Sig. Zoe gets a spot on the quiz team Zoe could have been on the quiz team, but wants to be a kidnapping victim in a movie. But suffers a traumatic flashback to her rape during a screen test and insults an actor. Claire breaks up with Eli's emotional absence and starts a relationship with Drew. Miss O is finally off the show. That was it. Sparks Will Fly Part 2 is when there's a romantic tension that boils over at Wild Wild West night. A desperate Eli returns to Degrassi just in time to catch Drew and Claire after they have sex. Claire rejects his apology, but finds herself alone with Drew because, her alone because Drew thinks that Eli and Claire still have sparks together. So he lands the movie role, but doesn't want her character's decision to commit suicide. Sig and Miles fight over Maya, and Miles loses badly, but wants to destroy Sig's life. Maya decides to be with Sig and is mad at Miles and breaks up with him. You Are Not Alone is the episode when Maya tries to put on a Burning Man inspired night to prove to school they aren't delinquents. Maya learns from Grace that Sig is gang affiliate and finds something in his bag. She freaks out, flushes it, and vows to do whatever it is to get straight and narrow. Sig's weed is gone. So anyway, Grace reveals that he was peddling the weed to buy gang protection from chapters of the Bloods in his neighborhood. Maya thinks that he screwed up. She screwed up. Winston starts a comic book society to meet girls. And when Frankie joins, she's trying to grow out of being the surrogate little sister into a romantic partner. All that. Heartbroken over Drew's rejection, Claire joins the Triathlon Club and makes a friend in Jack. Basically, Claire has a lot of fun with the Axe-Throwing Club, but everyone's lesbians. But Jack tells her she shouldn't feel comfortable and says she's cool for hetero. Enjoy the Silence is when Maya vows to keep Sig safe from the gang and pays off Tiny for the flushed weed. Tiny confronts Sig for demand. Allie advises a worried Maya that she can't help him if you can't help yourself. And when Maya hears Sig is skipping town, she wants Miles to help. Miles basically helps it by persuading his dad to connect Sig with some gang mediators, and thankfully everything's okay. Miles does not like the fact that someone kissed his sister and fails to teach the creep a lesson. Because Francie is only 14 and Winston's 17. Jack encourages Claire to get revenge on Drew during Panorama Night, and she tricks Drew into taking a polygraph, calling him a lying sack of garbage. Drew and Claire fight, and Allie consults her because she cries about being rejected by Drew after they have sex. So anyway, Becky tries to help. Becky is shunned by her parents in Hal Bizarre because she turned in her brother for assaulting Zoe. She finds it escaping an online game. Drew wants to make things right with Jenna and Allie since they hate him for what he did to Claire, but it was weird. Becky's gaming adventures have turned into online dates in My Hero, but basically she puts a stop to it. Hypnotizes when Mr. Yates is willing to help Tristan out of his and offers his help if he comes to his apartment. Imogen has feelings of love towards Jack. Out of my head is when Mr. Yates warns Tristan about concealing their affair. And Imogen basically wants Jack's affection. Believe is when Zoe worries about how she's being portrayed in a trial. She takes matters in her own hands and talks to the newspaper. Becky's concerned about what she has to say on the stand because her family wants her to lie. Miles tries to win Maya back. But basically, as Sig walks away from Maya, he walks back into his own troubles. Part 2 is when the sexual assault trial continues. And Becky's torn between pleasing her family and doing the right thing. Zoe's life and mental state spiral out of control because her past transgressions are brought out in the open, putting her chance to achieve justice into jeopardy. But as it turns out, Zoe gets her justice. Becky unfortunately gets shunned by her family because she refused to help the family because it was the right thing to do, which was kind of condescending in fact because I'm like, Zoe was doing the right thing. As Christians, you're supposed to do the right thing. And then her parents basically hated her because, it was favoritism towards Luke. Also, bear in mind that it was I think that it's a front for the fact that Becky's parents still are upset that she had a relationship with Adam being transgender. Thunderstruck happens. Sig invites Zoe and Maya to attend a Degrassi dance, but they get stranded by a thunderstorm. Maya and Zoe seek shelter in the dark and basically sort out their differences. Claire goes to New York to have an interview with Columbia University, and Claire ends up staying with Eli. The next morning, Claire is told that Columbia will be happy to have her. Eli still is in love with Claire. Drew is trying to hide his feelings for Becky, but basically Becky goes missing. And they're in a safe room to do with the storm. So as I said, season 13's hero has to be Silly for all she would. The biggest jerk, I think it's Sig. I think Sig's a big jerk about everything and getting involved in Maya's affairs. I would say Miles, but Miles really isn't a jerk. He's just confused about things. So that ends this Degrassi video.